Hello and welcome to the preview on the Fulhamish YouTube channel. Looking forward to our weekend games. Today, we're looking forward to an FA Cup fourth round away fixture at Wigan. My name's Elizabeth Barnard and I'm your host today, and I'm delighted to be joined by Barry from the Progress with Unity podcast. Barry, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's a bit cold up north as we're speaking. We've had a bad frost overnight, and I think it's forecast quite cool for Saturday. So all the Fulham fans coming up, make sure you get wrapped up.
Yeah, that's good advice. I'll make sure I'm wearing lots of layers on Saturday. Firstly, I wanted to ask you about Wigan's season so far. Obviously, most of our viewers won't have seen a lot of Wigan this season, with us not playing in the same division. So it'd be great to hear from you how it's been going. How are things?
Yeah, just a bit of context to our two clubs, really, and how it's affected on this season. The last time we played was in July 2020. You scraped unfairly a 1-1 draw at the DW Stadium, being awarded the dodgiest free kick you've ever seen. Unfortunately for us, we was in administration at the time, and we'd had a points deduction, and that draw actually relegated us to League One. I think you went up that season via the playoffs into the Premier League. So our journey has been contrasting, to say the least. We got relegated, deep in administration. Eventually, 12 months later, we got new owners who funded us for 18 months and then withdrew the funding, and we were back in dire straits again financially. We ended up getting relegated after getting promoted out of League One, getting relegated again back down to League One from the Championship. And last season was possibly the first season where we've had some stability in the club on the pitch and behind the scenes as well. We've got new owners in now. A local businessman owns us, but we had a transfer embargo, so we couldn't sign any players last season. So it was all people promoted from the academy, and we have a brilliant academy. This summer just gone, we've for the start of this season, with that transfer embargo has been lifted, but our owner is afraid that we might end up back in, if he throws the money at it, we might end up back in the situation that we was previously. So it's been a little bit hit and miss, to say the least. Was hoping for perhaps a challenge for the playoffs. Expectantly not, though. I think my expectations were quite guarded with seeing who we've signed. We play some wonderful football at times, and at other times we don't. You can, by watching us, you can tell we're a club that's been decimated by off-the-field matters because it reflects on the pitch. We've got a lot of young players in there, a lot of inexperience. So the performances have reflected that. We've got a couple of really outstanding young players. Well, we had three. We sold one in summer to Hull City in the Championship. We've just sold, in this window, Tello Asgard to Luton Town, destined for the Premier League. Absolutely. Possibly the best player in League One. Absolute star. He's a Norwegian under-21 international, been with us since he was 12. And it's hard when players come through the ranks and they leave. And we had a bit of a knock-on effect in the game after he signed for Luton. We played Peterborough the same evening, and we were dreadful. It looked like it affected the club that badly. We've won some good games, and we've lost some games that we felt we should have won. And we've done our usual. I know you beat Chelsea away this season for the first time since the 70s. Well, we've not lost to Bolton since for the last 10 visits, that were over 10 years since we last lost to Bolton Wanderers, and we went there and beat them again, even with our team who's been a little bit up and down. So this season, for all it's, I'll not say it's downs, because I've still enjoyed the season so far. I've really enjoyed it, but that was definitely a bright spot, going to Bolton and pulling the pants down, shall we say, in their own backyard. It was very good.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Winning at Chelsea away is one of the great days of my life. I wasn't even there. I was like Boxing Day. I was with family, but seeing it happen, just unbelievable. Yeah, I wanted to chat to you a bit about your cup run this season as well. Um, and wanted to ask really how you feel, how up for it you feel the club and the fans are going to be. Do you see the cup as an unfortunate inconvenience, or is it really something you're going for? I would say, is it fair to say that Fulham is the hardest test that you're going to face so far
Right.
in this cup run?
I'll come in on that. First of all, the FA Cup is never an inconvenience. And you're talking to
Hmm.
FA Cup winners in Wigan Athletic as recently as 2013. When did Fulham win the Cup? You've not. You've
Uh,
never won it. You got to the final in 75. So,
yeah.
probably before you were born that,
Hmm.
but I remember that game. Bobby Moore played at the back for you and West Ham beat you 2-0. But as cup previous cup winners, I can't tell you how important the FA Cup is. People said to us, "Would you sooner stay in the Premier League and give up your cup win?" Absolutely not. Why would we do that? The greatest day of my life was going to Wembley Stadium, watching Wigan Athletic beat Manchester City, 11th of May, 2013. It's etched on my heart. That's where it is now. That's where it is. The FA Cup is just so special, and I think the Premier League's got in the way of the FA Cup. It started with the FA allowing Manchester United giving them permission not to enter it the season they played it in the World Club Championship or whatever Mickey Mouse title they give that competition, and that was the beginning of the downfall of the FA Cup, in my opinion. And sometimes you look at Premier League and even to some extent Championship clubs, rotating the squad for the cup games, and it breaks my heart. It really does. And this season, without the replays, what an awful decision that is.
Hmm.
I mean, the non-league clubs and the lower league clubs who depend on an half-decent cup run to try and get some finances into the clubs, and it's been cut off because Manchester City and Liverpool think they're playing too many games by entering these daft competitions and then going on a tour in New Zealand as soon as the season finishes. Think about your bread and butter. That's me rant over anyway. I'll get back to your question. I'm sorry about that. So it's just the FA Cup is so magical. We
Hmm.
absolutely love it. Now I've had a look at some stats. Since 2012, you've got past the fourth round on 2 occasions for them. That's it. That's all you've done. 2 occasions you've got, and in
Yeah.
that, I think you've won. You've won. I've actually got it written down here. You've won 12 games. In that same period, we've won 24 games in the FA Cup. So you can see how seriously we do take this competition. We've been to the final, we've been to the semi-final, we got to the quarter-final as a League One side, beating along the way. We beat Manchester City as a League One side. Will Grigg was on fire that evening, and we beat them
Hmm.
1-0. So this season, our first game was Carlisle United away, which is a bit of a tough game for us. It's at the top of the country, and at the top of England, right on the border with
Hmm.
Scotland, and we took a decent following up. We took about 2,500-3,000 fans went up for that game, and we came away with a 2-0 victory. And they give us an hard game, and we was hoping for an home tie to sort of not guarantee us going through, but give us a fair chance. Unfortunately, we're drawn away at Cambridge United, who we hadn't beaten at their place since 2002. So straight away, there's a lot of dread coming into that game. And I think about 3 weeks before we played them in the league, and they give us a right walloping. And it was the first game they'd won this season. So they're a poor side in poor form, and they still beat us. So going into that game, it was a little bit of a worry. And Cambridge actually went to goal up. So I thought, oh no, this is it. We're out here. But we came back and we beat them 2-1 after extra time. Next up, we're away at Mansfield. Got called off because of it was that bad weekend with all the frost and going on. But again, that was a third round side. Last year, we pulled out Manchester United at the Brick Community Stadium, a home side against one of the biggest clubs in the region where we are, and it ensured we got a full house and made a load of money out of it. And then we get drawn against Mansfield away this year, in the third round. So no disrespect to Mansfield. For us, it was a tricky game. They're in the same league of us. They're pushing for the playoffs. They're playing well. They play well at home. But we went there and beat them 2-0. So this is what the Cup means to Wigan Athletic. Now, our manager, as you'll probably know, is one of Marco Silva's former players when he was manager of Hull, Sean Maloney. When I mentioned that we won the FA Cup in 2013, Sean Maloney took the corner that Ben Watson rose majestically to head the ball into the back of the net. So he's an absolute legend, and Sean Maloney knows exactly what the FA Cup means to this club. So, yeah, it means everything. That's our little journey up until the fourth round. And we've got that home tie that every club wants at this stage of the competition.
Yeah, I got to say, I really agree with you, actually. As a Fulham fan, there was a long time where we didn't take the cup that seriously because we were always pushing for promotion or trying to fight relegation. And it wasn't a great place to be. And now the FA Cup is absolutely, in my mind at least, should be the priority this season. And this game, this Saturday against Wigan, matters much more to me than our game against Nottingham Forest next weekend and the game against Palace after that. I'm really... the way you've spoken about it makes me a little bit nervous that we're going to come out really strong. So I'm just hopeful that doesn't happen. But yeah, I totally agree with you that it's an absolute priority for us. What shape do your guys come into this game in? Do you expect, I know you've spoken about how important it is to you and to the fans and to the club. Do you expect there will be a rotated team, or do you think it will be full strength?
Well, we can't rotate because we're decimated by injuries. So also we've signed some players to join the squad to help us through till summer, and I think there's 3 or 4 of them cup tied as well. So it's we're struggling a little bit. We have a brilliant midfield, including Ty Francois, one of your former players.
Yes. Oh my goodness, of course.
Yeah, but he's injured. He's out until next season. So, but with 3 central midfielders, Ty Francois, Matt Smith, and Barbara Deco, have all got long-term injuries. So, unfortunately, they're missing. We've signed a guy from Blackpool on loan, Ollie Norburn, who's cup tied, so he can't play. So we've got we've got a couple of decent lads in that team. Jensen Weir, who came through the club. In fact, he's our youngest ever league player at 15. He's the son of David Weir. Brighton bought him off us, and then we've bought him back from Brighton. And Scott Smith as well. We have 3 Smiths at the club who are all first teamers, so it gets a bit confusing at times. We'd never had a Smith in the Football League as a player until 2 seasons ago, and we signed 3 at one go. But there we go. So we've got Johnny, Matt, and Scott. I expect both Johnny and Scott will be playing. Scott, he's a Wiganer. He's a fan of the club. So what he does, he goes around kicking everybody who he thinks is trying to beat Wigan Athletic, like all supporters would do if they played for the club. So he's a tigerish, aggressive midfield player. Johnny Smith, flying winger. He's got a beautiful left foot on him. He plays on the right, and he cuts in, and he hits screamers into the far top corner. He's got 5 goals this season from playing on the wing, and he missed the first 3 months of the season through injury. So he's in good form at the moment, Johnny. So we'll not do much rotation. We had a bit of a conversation on our podcast last night about what the team would be, and to be honest with you, by the time we ticked off who couldn't make it, we had an 11 there anyway. So it basically picks itself. There's a little bit of a doubt over Callum McManaman. You'll know Callum McManaman probably. He played Premier League. He won the FA Cup with us. He played for West Bromwich Albion, Stoke City, Sunderland. He's been injured. Our manager, Sean Maloney, reckons he's not 100% fit. So whether he'll risk him or not to start, I don't know. But we usually play with 2 wingers, 2 defensive midfielders, a number 10. We've got a great little striker on loan from Nottingham Forest, Dale Taylor, and he plays up top. And he's not a big target man. He's only about 5'8", 5'9", but he's very, very good. His first touch is top class first touch. At the back, it's just a little bit of arguing about who I will fit the backup. We've got our 2 fullbacks basically pick themselves due to the injury situation. So we've got Toby Civic and we've got Luke Robinson on the other side at left back. Jason Kerr, our skipper, he's going to play centre half. Then it's who plays with him. We've got Williamson, who's been there most of the season, but just recently he's lost his place to James Carragher, who's the son of Jamie Carragher. Now, he's been playing between full-back and centre-back, but I'll be honest with you, he's not a full-back, he is a centre-back. He's much better at centre-back. We give a penalty away in the 88th minute on Saturday, which ended up in us not winning again. We drew one apiece with Lincoln. So, but he's a good lad. He's only in his early 20s. I think he's 21, 22. So it picks itself, basically. And our goalkeeper, Sam Tittle, England under 21, come through the ranks. Premier League clubs, there's 3 clubs been in for him already. He just wants to play football, so he's stayed with us. I think he'll be off in the summer, if I'm being honest. Destined for Premier League, probably destined to play for England as well. Fabulous goalkeeper. You'll see him yourself on Saturday. So he's definitely starting. So basically, it picks itself, the team, and we'll play 4-2, 2 wingers, number 10, and our striker who bobs up and down. There you go. So there's the tactics sorted.
Amazing. So what I'm hearing is that far from a squad that's decimated by injuries, but still a squad with quite a formidable backline, and England under 21 goalkeeper, and a really fast, fun striker up top with a great first touch. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, that's right. If you look at our goals conceded this season, I think we're second or third in the division, but we're 17th for conceding goals. Our backline, we've had about 11 clean sheets, so we're very tight at the back.
Yeah, many more than Fulham have had this season. Tight at the back is not something that you can say about our team, unfortunately. Yeah. On the flip side, I wanted to ask, where do you think we'll be able to hurt Wigan?
Well, Anthony Robinson is coming home, isn't he? If he plays. So he's trying to catch him. Our right back who I mentioned, Toby Civic's quite fast, and Johnny Smith will play on the right as well. But Johnny Smith isn't a defender by any stretch of the imagination. But the only worry from your point of view with that will be if Anthony Robinson busts forward and he leaves Johnny Smith free, down our right, your left-hand side. I can see a lot of trouble though. We know Marshall Godot as well. I'd like to think Marshall will be playing in this game. He had a fabulous season with us last year, loved by the club, and listening to his comments, he loved his time at Wigan Athletic. I interviewed him a few times for the supporters club. What a character! He's bubbly. He's so funny. He's a great kid, and without any doubt, he'll cause us problems. And I think through midfield as well. I don't know what your midfield's like, if I'm being honest, but it's Premier League quality. It has to be. And I think United in the table at the moment, so you're not a bad side by any stretch of imagination. So I'm just a little bit concerned about that. But we do like to play counter-attacking football. So if we sort of got a little bit of pressure up, frustrate you, and then hit you on the break. But it's difficult for me, knowing that Maloney's hand is sort of forced with his team selection, because he likes to have a little bit of a tinker and nullify the opposition a little bit. And I think that's my concern with this game. I don't think he's got the opportunity to do that through the situation that we're in with injuries and players being cup-tied.
Yeah, I think the games where Fulham have struggled the most this season actually have been when teams have sat back against us and tried to soak up pressure. So we're just not excellent at breaking them down. So to hear that that's going to be what's going on this weekend is obviously a little bit nerve-wracking, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm hopeful. I wanted to get a score prediction from you before we go. How do you think this one's going to go? And I want you to go with your heart.
Oh, definitely go. I'll always go with my heart. On our podcast last night, I give my prediction. I spoke to Dan Crawford from Amiens.
Yes, I know. We know Dan now.
Yeah, he was up actually doing a scouting mission when we played Shrewsbury a few weeks ago, and he came up and watched the game. And Dan's he went for a draw at the end of full time with Fulham to win in extra time. But I don't see it like that. I think you're going to come up all like Bertie Big Shoes and we're the Premier League club. I don't think you will, but this is what's going on in my head. You're going to come up with that sort of feeling about you, and we're going to hit you. I think Johnny Smith is going to hit one of his specials, and we're going to win 1-0. in 90 minutes. I think we're going to put you out and we're going to go on one of our famous cup runs. And you're going to struggle again to get past the fourth round, which you don't seem to do. You've only done twice since 2010. Do you know how long it is since we've actually beaten you, though? Have I mentioned this? 19,
no, I don't think so.
19 games since Wigan Athletic beat Fulham. You have to go back to 2006 Premier League at Craven Cottage. That's the last time we beat you.
Well,
so that's a big worry as well.
Hopefully we'll be able to turn that or to keep that going, because we've got quite a habit of gifting teams that have terrible records in London, say, and then they come to London, they beat us, that kind of thing. I feel like a lot of people talk about Dr. Tottenham, but I feel like quite often we're Dr. Fulham in some kind of way. I'd say my score prediction would be, I think Fulham are going to win the game, but I don't think it's going to be as comfortable as a lot of us would hope. So I'm going to say in normal time, partly because I need to run for my train. Or I don't want to have to run for my train. I'm going to say 1-2, and hope that I'm right. But Fulham have had a record of being knocked out of the Cup by lower league teams. We were knocked out of the Carabao this season by Preston, a couple of seasons ago by Crawley of the Carabao, and then famously also by Oldham a few years before that. So I'm not counting any chickens for the fifth round yet. And finally, I wanted to ask, a lot of Fulham fans are going up to Wigan this weekend. It's actually my first time doing this away day. I'm really excited. Is there anything in the city that I should check out? I've been told that I have to have a pie at the stadium. But aside from that, where should I go? What should I see?
Right, well, we're a town, not a city. And so that's going to be your first surprise. You're coming up on the train.
My geography is lacking.
Yeah, you're coming up on the train. Don't have a pie at the ground. When you come up on the train, come out the station. If you turn left, you go under the railway bridge and turn immediate left. So I'm talking here 10 yards. There's a little pub there called Wigan Central, and it's does its own beers. They do pies in there if you want a pie. Absolutely brilliant. But if you've got any time to spare, as you come out the station, turn right and walk up the hill into the town. So you're only 2-minute walk out the town centre. There's loads of pie shops with proper Wigan pies. So I'd go in one of those, definitely. There's a few pubs knocking around there where away fans will be welcome. Definitely Wigan Central. I'd recommend that. The beer's fabulous. And then it's only probably a 10-15 minute walk down to the ground from there. As long as it's not raining, you can walk down to the canal and then walk down the canal to the ground. Take you 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And at the stadium itself, I think they're a bit slow. So I think most stadiums are, aren't they? They're a bit slow serving drinks and that. But just we're at the side of the canal, but we're at the back end of a retail park. And on the retail park, you've got a pub called Red Robin, who they're like one of these, I don't know what they call them, hungry eaters or whatever, harvester type places. They do, like, you can get a meal in a pint for a tenner or whatever it is. But we've also got Nando's, KFC, McDonald's, Wimpy. All those are on this retail park, and it's right where the stadium is. So you're not walking any distance. If anybody's coming up in their own cars, making their own way up, with massive car parks down Stadium Way, I think it's £6 to park there, but they're all secure, and you're away afterwards straight away. And just come and have a big fun day. You've got the North Stand, which is your stand. It holds 5,000, so please come and fill it and give us all your money so we can pump it back into the club. That's what these ties are all about, isn't it? And I think I think we're expecting a really good atmosphere with the Fulham supporters, and we definitely owe you one from that time when we got relegated, because you got that dodgy free kick late in the game and sent us down.
Yeah, with apologies about that, kind of. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Barry, for speaking to me today. And thank you for watching the preview. The team will be back very shortly, reviewing the game and looking forward to other fixtures. And thank you for watching. I'd love to hear in your comments your score predictions, what you think is going to happen. And see you soon.